This one here on Acend is going to be played out much, much slower with Supermassive Blaze creeping through short, and it's the fight for cNed. He's going to be the one given an opportunity to make a big play here. The first found, the dash out, and that's a free opening duel.
Yeah, solid start. And well, with the current positioning of the defensive side, it has to be a switch up. Now, the information's going to be there, but the starxo at this point, it becomes dangerous, and XiSTOU's lurk through already makes this a little bit more awkward. They've managed to catch players re-aggressing to try and help starxo out on the other side of the map, and because of that, the B site almost looks free for the taking. But for now, they're actually going to opt to go back. The problem is the dart is perfect and scans up the majority of the team.
Yeah, I'm starting to move back towards short. That door is closed. Going to buy a little bit more time as they break it. And oh, that's a great shock. Look at the damage done. Brave, just one hit, but it's not going to be landed at all. With Zeek going down, the spike will be planted. Supermassive Blaze well and truly in control. It looked like there was going to be a little bit of a fumble. But now they've got that numbers advantage. They've got the plant, and now they've got the big peaks, but they're losing players. It doesn't matter as they close it out nice and neatly in the end.
Yeah, and I don't know if the most, which is a very weird combination to have. He was initially a Jet, one of the best guys we've ever seen, and then picked up Astra going into Champions and was fantastic on it. So that's going to be definitely one of the main highlights, and it also allows BONECOLD to then go back over to Sova, which again I think is a more comfortable pick.
Nice setup early there for Acend. They wanted to put down the Nano Swarm to get a player into wine. It's been read, expected, and Supermassive Blaze. Well, they applied quite a nice bit of pressure, but Izzy going down to the Nano Swarm keeps the numbers in Ascend's favor. starxo locked in a battle now. Players rushing the site behind him. He has to charge forward, and he'll do so successfully. Even running all the way back into their spawn. They pursue. They still haven't caught him, and now they've lost the site because the Acend members are here to fight. cNed dropped right away, and BONECOLD, well, he steps on back. Doesn't want to fight that any longer. The door wide open. Zeek, though, caught breaking the wall. Won't throw them off by all too much. SMB are holding on remarkably well in this round so far, and now even propelling into the lead. There's still 30 seconds left. That's still a decent amount of time to work with, and with a 2v2 and low HP on starxo, it's so winnable, but BONECOLD will save the day. It's BONECOLD with the 3K. That one was just for him.
A lot of the early battles, lose a lot of map control, and then still seem to come out of it in a very, positive position. That from cNed is just disgusting. Like, to get the deep player as well, you've just got to be frustrated, and well, their reaction after having some weaker weaponry is just to be incredibly aggressive through mid and B, and it's worked wonders.
Yeah, that's just ludicrous. Izzy's going to be dropped here, so numbers sticking well and truly in Ascend's favor. I was just gobsmacked at that man sending it down middle. Obviously, it's combined with a B play, though, right? It's not just cNed doing one thing and that's it. It's about Acend playing for cNed to have that sort of ability in this round. Obviously, hoping for a slightly closer range engagement, but he got out with one and distracted pretty much the entire team as they scrambled to deal with him. This turret's actually not going to spot CyderX, so he's able to at least get the first. And now on the swing around, he's actually getting a little bit more, but never mind. The round will not go to Supermassive Blaze. It's locked out by cNed. Seemed to kind of jump to action on the back of it, but hasn't spotted him still. Supermassive Blaze stalling out and waiting for a peek to come through. 40 seconds on the clock. And still a lot of players on this A side. No info spotted, but they're going to just run out right afterwards. The Blade Storm on Izzy, getting some good damage in, and now looking for a little bit more down below. The right click hasn't landed. starxo's given an opportunity, but it is a short-lived one.
Okay. And they've used the res, committing a lot into this one. The shock dart, though, is going to drop, and the problem is the time. Down to just 10 seconds. They have to get this plant in, and there's a Hunter's Fury to try and deny it as well. If he dies here, it could all be over. He's going to get it within the second. It will go down, and now BONECOLD, well, so close to winning it individually, has to try and take on 3.
Well, he's already had the 3K, but this is going to be a much harder one. They're just anchored on the site. Great shot. The reaction time was lightning fast, but Brave ends up getting the better of him. He might not be brave.
It's cNed as well, so you have to double up how much that could play a
so
part in
this
this
is a
round.
round.
It's been a bit quiet so far. That doesn't last long.
No, it never does. The Supermassive Blaze have had quite a tame attack. Very content to hit the brakes on some of these pushes, and I would say that could be the same here. You have an Astra lurking through mid if the opportunities are given, and pressure out of Izzy. Wall down, not fully getting them across though. That's a little more shallow than I think they would have liked, unless that's intentional to give them the angle to play off. BONECOLD is dealt with immediately. cNed's Blade Storm has found its first victim. Its second victim as well. A small gap left, but it's enough. He's conscious of someone coming through middle. That player spotted, but cNed now charges to sight. Damage done. He needs to refresh these blades. Just 3 to play with here. Oh, going to be spotted and, well, nicely closed out.
Yeah, I for a moment I was like,
yesterday, you know, a lot of these teams, as we were saying, you get to review where they're at, check back in with them. Well, they know where the drone is. And that tag received on the other side, a little bit more deadly. There's the first on Zeek. He dodges the rest at least. But he'll survive a little bit longer.
Seems like they're prepared for cNed to be here, but he still manages to get away with a shot. Escaping this should be impossible, and it will be. A decent trade out from Brave, and still, again, they are slowing down, but they've got that lockdown available to them. It doesn't even seem to be anything on the other side that will be able to deny it either. By the looks of it, a lot of the utility has already been used. Instead, there's going to be a counter lockdown, but they've started to swing back in the other direction. starxo has spotted this push, and now the remainder of the team look to try and join him.
Big early spot by starxo. Here comes a Cosmic Divide, defensive side and offensive. They're kind of trapped in towards Jenny. That's going to give a lot of space for the retake to be set up at least. They're conscious that these players could be on the other side of any divide. Look how scared they are to push through, knowing that, well, you might as well just wait it out at this stage, and they can play this one together, having all the angles open. Time's going to start to be an issue. Great pick by starxo that mitigates a lot of those problems that start to develop down below. Surely he doesn't get both as they drop on in. They're lined up, and Gove knocks them down. 5-2, Supermassive Blaze.
So, if anything, Supermassive Blaze are firmly in the driver's seat, and that's normally where Acend win a round.
Very true. Just some pistols, no Blade Storm for cNed this time, so we can at least feel a little bit confident that this round goes to Supermassive Blaze. So they've got a rifle. That's good. So only Izzy on the dash, so no one else should be isolated in 1v1 duels. This should be a nice, easy, yeah, just clean as, yeah, no problems really in this round. Because, like, you know, Acend haven't really bought anything, so walk in the park is kind of what comes to mind.
Oh, eventually, come on.
Kills, maybe.
I don't want to be right. I don't want to be right. They've got res. They've got res. They could bring one back. Cyder, he's got a good spot.
30 seconds
They've
left.
got this into a winnable position.
You
But the
will
time.
not kill my allies.
Not even
they've
worried.
got break their own wall.
Yeah, few more for Acend, naturally. Come in with pistols and end up in a 1v3. Brave is alone, and he's dealt with this.
Because they do it all the time.
See, what you don't realize, they talk about crystal balls. Well, see, Tom actually just rubs his head in between the rounds, and that's
Yeah, I look in a mirror.
That's why we know at Atlanta.
Will they win this round? And then I nod up and down, and then a little thing comes up and it says yes.
Yeah, see, like my predictions at LAN are a lot better because I just rub his head, and then I know exactly what to go for. It's at least that's what he tells me. I don't know. I don't know why else he'd have me doing it.
That'd be weird.
5-3. The Acend are in a prime spot after that previous round, but now with the rifles in hand, they've got to do something that apparently is a little bit more difficult for them, winning a pie round.
Oh, starxo is absolutely screwed, and they're being ripped apart. Wow, Supermassive Blaze took that one personally, coming with a quick round in towards the A side, and the remaining two players they've got to save. Like, they've got a little bit of reserve cash because of the BS round that they just won. They basically gave them a load of rifles for free, but it doesn't mean they can just afford to throw these remaining 2 into the wind. And I think it's clear to say that so far on this attacking side, Supermassive Blaze have been the better team. Like, it's been blips on the radar for Acend, and everything else has been the full Turkish squad just running away with it.
And the problems have been evident starting things out. At the same time, though, yeah, I think it's fair to say that Supermassive Blaze are underlining the fact that this is a Turkish team. SMB, I know them for their attack, at least knew them for their attack. I do wonder if we're going to see the same thing. Smoke, and I can only assume going through it, the wall is what stops him in the end. If even. Slows him down, let's say.
Zeke's in a good spot. He's going to be able to take out some of that utility at least, deny the player splitting through, but the problem is the amount of space that's available. Izzy's going to be going right over the top again. The right click betrays him. Gets nothing for it, but Brave has turned around. He is looking fantastic. I was wondering how the switch of agents would play a part for him, but, well, it seems like it's no problem at all. And then you got Glow on the other side, shutting down the round.
Back, that's worked out very well for Supermassive Blaze.
Oh, they're pushing into the util combo, though. This could be perfect. They got the Gravwell on the other side. They don't know it's there because of their screen. That's perfect. The Cosmic Divide pulls, almost tricks them into position. And now the door's closing. There's only seconds left on the clock. They have to go sprinting into this site. And while there is just no time for Glow to do anything. Solid round from Acend. The bait and switch having all their utility in the right spot. And they'll at least grant themselves. Falling has been the thing on their attack that impressed me the most, alongside just some of those young players still performing to such a high standard. Again, though, you can never count out Acend. We know that they are an incredible team at turning round. Brave, that is so cocky. With a classic as well. He will go down to BONECOLD, but damn. He wanted that.
Oh, you sneaky boy, Glow. He's made it into the site, and, well, only good for the one. The remarkable that they were all in positions where he couldn't see them. If anyone was kind of standing around staring at heaven in the open, they would have had a quick wake-up call on that. Still a 3v3 retake to take place. Supermassive Blaze not down and out of it just yet. You know, this slow play from Izzy up behind. He might. Oh, they've turned, but not in time. BONECOLD looks back towards the site. Izzy cuts them off, and it's only cNed left down below. They know exactly where he is. The first is found, and cNed almost gets it. 10 HP left on XiSTOU, but that is enough to give the pistol to Supermassive Blaze.
Yeah, again, very controlled. I think it's very easy for teams to almost make mistakes when they have that flank come.
Brave's being caught moving up close, but I mean, really, they don't know that, right? They just know he was somewhere around main, but they'll check the close corner. A round like this where Supermassive Blaze have a bonus to play with. There's a distraction. Oh, but they've seen him. Brave now kind of stuck in the corner. He'll put down the slow and try to stay alive. It's tough, but Brave ends up getting cNed for his trouble. A heal and a wall. He's going to get out of there alive. Well handled by Brave, but he's lost his teammate in the process. But CyderX down. They can't really hold B main just the same. Those fights not going to be as confident. So Zeek, with his 6 health, will survive later on into the round.
Yeah, they've still denied them the space, though. It's something that Acend could definitely go back to reclaim, which they will. And obviously wanting to make sure that that rifle doesn't fall into enemy hands. But this is still looking a lot more dangerous than I'm sure Acend would have liked in what has been in such an aggressive early stage. Now they again look to go back into this B site. Brave without any utility to play with, so it's just going to come down to the individual aim.
So at least the opening is going to Acend's way, so they're not going to be caught off by Brave on the site this time. Zeek survives, hiding away in his corner. And Supermassive Blaze have a tough retake. If they can take Zeek down, it'll even the odds and give them a better weapon to play with. But now he's got some support. Killjoy up close as they'll just swing in together. Out of ammo, Glow is caught. And Acend are happy with that. The time's on their side. They don't need to make a move. Supermassive Blaze do.
Yeah, this not looking likely. And I think that the way that after plan was actually played by Acend was incredibly good. Like, you know that chances are if you sit towards the back of the site or even commit to main control, you're going to end up losing or being in a really tough spot to a lockdown, especially with how much utility they used early. You think about what you would normally need to destroy a lockdown, you're looking at maybe that fragment, either that or you're looking at shock darts. Well, most of that was used very early or just to try and kill the player in the corner. So instead they play aggressively. They make sure it is an A take.
Concealment.
Now Blade Storm going to be swinging the corner on the glow. A big fight for him. What a spray correction. Catching BONECOLD as he comes around the corner. A little bit more needs to be done. Supermassive Blaze. Have XiSTOU on the site. That lockdown cannot be used. Not from where he currently is. They just rush him down. He's got to win the duels instead, and it's a little bit too difficult. Blade Storm still looking for some victims late into the round. And it's going to be valuable for stopping that retake from coming through. Or actually, he's going to use it as a backup to his rifle. CyderX getting caught off by that. starxo with another. It's clean. It's Acend with 6. And that's, I think, going to ruin Supermassive Blaze, right? They have to take an eco here. They are content to just run into this buy round. And I'm curious to see what they've got planned for us.
Well, this has been one of the most hotly contested positions on the map. It's going to be B main, and by the looks of it, Acend are just waiting. And then they're looking to see, firstly, if that operator is going to be taking a peek, but more so how aggressive they're going to be on this side of the map. And with the drone not really getting much information other than someone is there, you can't really go for those same sort of rotations you might desire.
You are divided.
Oh, here's the reveal on Brave. He actually is quite brave. He's swinging out wide, playing with his team on that fight and getting a massive reward for it. They're going to get that res through, though. The Cosmic Divide of Supermassive Blaze actually allowing Acend to pop a res. We end up in this 3v3 with no information for either teams, locked off by this X on the map, but it's about to fade on both slants and put us into a bit more of an awkward position if starxo's able to complete that flank. But Supermassive Blaze are actually more proactive in watching their flank than they are in even watching the B site. They're staring at it with 2 players, hoping that Acend give them that opportunity.
I think they were almost waiting for starxo to try and get something here, but Izzy's just too quick for them in both cases. 2 down, it's left onto BONECOLD. He needed an ace of his own for them to win that round, and Supermassive Blaze come back to form. Izzy's operator, who could... It's a risky play, but it's definitely one that bought a little bit of time. The problem is the control they've lost elsewhere. They're going to get the heal off, but Brave almost loses his life for it instead. Now cNed looks to try and make their presence known towards the B side of the map. There's still so much time for Acend to play with as well. The fact they've got this far is a bit of a worry.
Yeah, they're going to completely smother CyderX. He is out all alone on the back of the site in Boathouse, and you can see exactly how that one was bound to go. Getting 1 or 2 would have been good, but it's a pretty tall task.
Spike planted.
I think you're saving here for SMB if they don't find a kill onto that site fairly soon, considering what they're up against. There's a lockdown and a Hunter's Fury to play with for Acend, and to retake into that site, I'm pretty sure their economy... Yeah, I mean, look, we can see it. I forget that. Yeah, they've got nothing.
Yeah.
Just not worth it.
It's a weird spot as well, because we've seen XiSTOU now with the his own lockdown since what? Was it round 2 or 3? Like,
yeah.
He's just had it for such a ridiculously long amount of time, but they've never really been in a good spot to use it. Now probably would have been a good spot, but there's also one on the other side, and you've got a Hunter's Fury. So there's just no way that you're ever going to be able to use it. So it's one of those ults that very, very situational, and unfortunately this one just didn't apply to it. I think also one of the things I've enjoyed with Ascend's attack so far is they've really
on their backs to make it work. After saving all those rifles the previous round, you don't want to have to do the same here or lose that duel quite as quickly. Now they're going to concede mid control entirely. Well, I say entirely. They're holding short aggressively, but one smoke there and B could be split very easily. They then wall off B, and Tom, well, for a second, it looked like they were going to rotate fully towards this A site. It would be the right call, though, as the Acend are grouped up and ready to charge forward. They've given that away, and so here comes the entirety of SMB.
Deploying drone.
Not really anything available, it seems, to deny the lockdown. So they're just going to have to surrender this space, and it leaves them in a pretty awkward spot because, well, those gaps is where Acend are likely to throw the entirety of their utility belt. They know there's only one place that Glow could have been. a Hunter's Fury of their own going to be thrown forward, and already they will capitalize. Maybe not with the kill, but with the space that it took.
To be honest, with what Glow was able to do there, I'm incredibly impressed. He stayed alive for so long underneath A Heaven. He managed to burn up so much utility. He got an Astra Star down. He spammed to scare them, ran back under, grab weld. They couldn't push on the back of their utility and their lockdown, which was insanely valuable, but he still ends up going down. They had way too much. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, he managed to get them to use their Hunter's Fury. So really pulling a lot of utility off them in that situation, but he needed the killer too to follow up, right? And that didn't happen. His teammates didn't get there in time, get back in towards those sight lines in time, and so we're looking at the round definitely going to Acend, despite these picks that are, you know, definitely in SMB's favor. They've pretty much killed everyone. The spike will still explode.
Clutch.
No, okay. They wiped the entirety of the Acend team. Now, it's going to be costly, no doubt about that, but it was more the value that Acend was looking for.
Izzy's going to have the op. Maybe that's just for the early peek, and he'll dash back, give the op away once he doesn't have dash anymore. Because two of his teammates are rocking sheriffs, and one is the solo A player. Actually, both of the A players.
No, they've incorporated the legendary strat of Izzy go kill, and for that he needs both.
I don't think that's true. I don't think he needs both. I think I've seen him do it with just an op. I've seen him do it with Bladestone, but no, look, peculiar decision. Not one I'm necessarily behind, and not one that has given SMB any ground in the early stage, but no,
oh dear.
No, it will not find anything. That is conclusive evidence brought to you by cNed, but hey, the two sheriffs on the other side of the map are putting in some work. They found a kill, and now they're moving back to short. The wall about to go down, and it has blocked them out. It's confirmed that they're here. And Acend seemed to be a little bit deterred by that.
See,
they know rotates could have happened.
Could Brave now go and get the res? They've kept that control. The problem is they would almost completely be giving up that A side, but they've still got that lockdown available to them, so they can almost take that risk if they can get him in and actually have a very real chance of winning this round.
Get out of my way.
XiSTOU's found another to starxo. This is looking very good for SMB with the res coming through. Sure, a plant is found, but to hell with your plant. There's no Hunter's Fury on the side of Acend to play post-plant or to counter the lockdown that XiSTOU has online.
Just shock darts. That's the worry. And they've held the control. That's the bigger problem. This is where you're always going to be putting the lockdown. So cNed in space, and actually, they're just going to kill off everyone that tries to get into position. A slaughterhouse of the remaining players. Another comes through for BONECOLD, and while this has to be the defense of the lockdown to have any chance. Damn, okay. Acend were ready for any sort of play. That
was Acend.
For sure, yeah. And the thing is as well, they've done that a couple of times where they've made sure that whatever ultimates are online on the other side are not going to be well utilized by Supermassive Blaze because they're going to take away the one spot where they'll want to put it. And it makes it so much more difficult to play against when your whole plan basically just goes completely out of the window. Now Brave again. It's going to lock off short control. They've given the tiniest of angles to see. Okay. All right.
Not the intended interaction from Acend, but it is what it is. There's a push coming down on mid. No connections from the rifles, but it's CyderX to take down Kiles as the attempted push through short is met by Brave. Able to pick up a first. Glow in with another. This is looking good for SMB. They've got a lot of control here. The spike on the floor, and zeek, although he'll find the first, can even get this planted. There's so many players around. Take down the jet as well. This is starting to get a little bit dangerous. Shock dart avoided another tap. He's going to be flanked out from the door, though. XiSTOU saving the day for SMB as an overtime is
still doing well, don't get me wrong, but he's normally up there in the fragging department.
Great shock dart. Armor stripped from a lot of these players and damage done. Look at zeek. Despite that, he's going to be popping the ult to charge on forward, canceling a lot of their utility and actually rotating. These guys are going all the way around, but I mean, at this point, that becomes very obvious because you can see zeek. You can see him move.
Ooh, okay. Izzy's gone aggressive. He also has confirmed that there's another player there, and he's going to go swinging for him. Still had the dash available, so wasn't as much of a risk as it might have seemed. still got Cyder in the backlines of the B site as well, so it's not like they've given up that control by any manner. And Acend have almost slowed to a halt, trying to find some space, and BONECOLD has had some decent rounds turning the tide. More whether they can catch Izzy watching on this cross.
That's a big reveal. They know exactly where Izzy is. Izzy is. That was weird. CyderX stuck in Boathouse is, I mean, expected. He's been playing here a bit. They've spotted him before. If he can manage to find a kill or two, it would be fantastic, but nothing landed as they overrun B. And SMB have to now take stock of what they've got. 3v3. No ultimates online, but a little bit of utility to work with. Still a slow on Brave. They can't lose Izzy here. Oh, he's gone down right away. The lockdown for Kiles deployed. It's not needed. The kills come in way too quickly. 12 to 11. And we're going to Supermassive Blaze have a little bit of comfort coming onto this attacking side. It certainly went very well for them last time around. But it hasn't started out the same. Zeek opening this one up. That's XiSTOU gone. And they're going to look to the A side to try and remedy this.
The problem now is that same momentum they had is nigh on completely gone. Izzy has fallen and still surviving in that corner. We've seen a tasty warbang come through from a different Brave. Oh, okay. He's going to catch him in the smoke instead. Kiles trying to be a bit audacious. No way out. cNed has rotated in. That operator watching from up high, landing the shot and leaving just one man standing Acend. It took them a while, but they've got that buy round. Into making a mistake, hoping they go hunting or watching for someone to push through. And in fact, he's actually denied the drone with the shock dart. That's really nice.
I have the spike.
30 seconds.
Costly for Ascend's attack early on. There's the opening pick for Izzy. The operator going to swing out wide. The dash still well and truly online, giving them all this confidence to play with. But they've redirected themselves. Acend instead shifting focus to CyderX on the back of B. He is taken down immediately. Kiles has got another. Ascender back on top. A 4 versus 2 now sits in front of them, and a plant will be secured. Supermassive Blaze are going to have to fight tooth and nail to get this one across the line. Izzy's even spotted crossing on mid. Will he check his close right corner? No! Kiles has another! But Glow left alone. This is looking like Acend have made the comeback happen. Supermassive Blaze pick this map, and they get off to a flying start, but a crash. We're going to be jumping into things anyways. Acend on the attacking side here on Bind. And as we said, they're definitely cautious about having hope for SMB. I like this aggression early, though. That really sets the tempo from Izzy all the way in their spawn a few seconds in. And now moving back to duel around mid a little bit more. Bathroom is under pressure. Nades are going out on mid to slow the push. And BONECOLD just headshotted someone with a molly. CyderX. He should have probably taken damage for that, to be honest. That came at him fast.
I felt like I was watching some sort of 3D movie and something just come out of the screen. Like, that was more of a jump scare than anything else, but it's still a huge early advantage for Supermassive Blaze. They managed to get themselves in a spot where they've taken a ridiculous amount of map control on Brave. He's hearing every single footstep, just looking to lurk in from behind, but Kiles has caught him. If they manage to trade this back, it could be a problem, and more importantly, Brave stays alive, and now Glow is just not expected within the site. He mops up the remainder, leaving just Kiles, and while Brave is still in behind.
Oh, that's an easy. He's just going to repeat the strategy, and Kiles is out of there, man. He is gone. Popped his wall up and just got to the other side of the map quick as he can.
Well, this is a pacey looking take coming out of Acend. So much space already garnered, and well, the fight back from Glove. Oh, nice shot at least, but he can't quite connect the no-scope. It would have been incredibly impressive if he could, and by the looks of it, starxo is actually going to go pushing all the way down. Kiles waiting on that flank. It's the sweetest timing you could have done, and while for Izzy, not a lot of hope.
Just faked out our observers there. Fake plant from BONECOLD. Gave it over to starxo, so he has Seekers for next round. See if Izzy can get anything done. As we said, you know, damage is the name of the game. He wouldn't be out of his mind to sit here and wait until the spike's about to explode, try to catch them coming down long. Doubtful to go through hookah. Just too close quarters, you don't want to jump into it. Long as just easier and closer. And you always have the escape of the TP. I feel like Izzy's going to end up just diving into the spike, but there's a chance he might even catch Kiles And in fact, these players are not taking TP. They're going on long. There's one. Oh, Izzy.
Okay.
The nade is going right on target. These players push back towards the site. I think they're still going to be safe from spike explosion, which Izzy will go down to on purpose. That is an insane.
Basically lockdown lamps.
Blinded.
That's where as well, you know, we discussed it earlier on Bind, how important these ult orbs are for strong ult economy teams. And on Bind, pretty much every team is a strong ult economy one with the kind of comps you're running. Zeke's still going to make it through with the blast packs. Not quite as quickly as he'd hoped, and he'll be caught, actually. Izzy with an off angle. And now they're going to fight over towards the bathroom where starxo was spotted, stuck in the corner, and oh, that's a nasty peek.
They know that there's two locked in there, and with the wall behind, it's going to take some time for the remainder of the players to actually get through. They have information of at least 3 of these 4 players are not coming in from the spawn side, so it's very possible that Acend tried to get aggressive around the other side, and that's exactly what they do. They clear towards the spawn and have an afterplant from a different position. Kiles is in a bit of trouble, but luckily he's got cNed to support him. Another double coming in, and while Izzy tries his best, but it isn't going to be enough, and always going to be worried for the orbital strike. Like, there's not many maps where it's like I would say incredibly impactful, but this is definitely one of them for the potential positions to clear. And well, actually, they're going to force Izzy completely into the open, not in the most normal spot for it to be placed. He's going to get killed off by the nade. Not anything he can really do there. And while they got the opener they desired, XiSTOU, though, he wants to re-aggress. Okay, then. Zeek has just been finished off. Didn't even know that was up for a battle. He will be brought back from the fray, however.
Yeah, as we said, lots of ultis for Acend, and there's one of them used. Well, 2, I suppose, orbital strike as well at the start. Those 2 ultis give them 1 player to the good. Lost shields on Zeek, lost shields on cNed, and now the showstopper activated, but oh my god, Brave has just ruined the hopes of this round. They committed so much on the side of Acend, a show side for sure.
Oh, playing around a tiny gap, and actually the Viper's Pit might just pull a rotation or 2 at will, and just as they go to move, Zeek is ready and waiting. If anything, though, that kind of holds a couple of players back. It gives them an opening to try and find something, but BONECOLD's going to be the one to win it with a pistol.
What?
Leaving Glove as the solo defender, and after being tagged up twice, there was nothing he could really do. The remaining members of SMB would just fall back to save, and that's kind of what I mentioned. Like, the second Acend need a round, well, that was defense, and at least for now, it looks like long is where they're going to challenge for. Seekers is going to give the information over, but it might be too little too late. The slow in combination with the paint show is going to leave a fairly low HP player on the side. Brave is dead. He had to just try and find something there, peeking out into the open, and Izzy has gone down on the rotation. In fact, A-Site has actually fallen into the hands of just starxo. Trade back for XiSTOU, though, does make things interesting, and Glove just comes straight through the TP and takes down 2. This round is workable now.
That Hunter's Fury comes through, and it almost finds BONECOLD, but Glove goes down on the way through Hookah. It's CyderX who has to clutch it out. Charging onto the site. I don't know what happened there. 3 people have shot at once. There's no way Acend think this is a light play.
Poor Zeek. It's just been thrown everything at him. And that will actually steal them another rifle. 3 guns now up for the side of Supermassive Blaze. And XiSTOU's only responsibility is to delay. Doesn't really need to fight into this one. It is going to be an afterplant scenario, and that's one of the main issues. Like, you've managed to get a gun, you've managed to make this look workable, but getting out of this afterplant is one of the toughest things any team will have to face off against because of this utility combination that is there. You still have those Molotovs, you have those snake bites, and there's still flashes available as well, and slows.
And there's a tag for cNed. He'll get out, even without his dash. Laying on the Sage here. He'll avoid being spammed as well. The reveal going through. cNed stepping into the corner. They know exactly where he is. So many players peeking him. I don't know how he stays alive for that long. And in the process, BONECOLD takes down the whole enemy team. 4 quick kills. And the round is saved with BONECOLD's ace. Ascend, look, they maybe shouldn't have ended up with just one player alive at the end.
Kiles is taking space, but they're going to pressure him and clear him out. Solid start to the round because he's always an irritation on that lurk. Someone that's difficult to take down, and Starzo's trying to re-aggress for a little bit of control. Now, the rotation has come through from Cyder back towards that B site. Potentially leaves an opening, but they are definitely trying to scout out the area, maybe isolate that player. And while they're going to use the orbital strike in combination with the res to make sure there's no way they're going to trade it out.
Oh, Starzo with a nasty angle. One of the only spots Izzy still could have been in was the other side of default, so they wait for it. That wall going down is going to cost a lot of extra time and guarantee that the plant cannot be interrupted. They've got flank control. Take a look down at utility now. If we check in, Brimstone has a molly to play with double snake bites for Kiles. He hasn't even put down his orb yet because he's not planning to play a post plant. In fact, he's getting aggressive inside of hookah. This is Acend saying, we're not letting you push to the site and try to defuse this. You're not even getting out of your spawn. And Supermassive Blaze have heard that message loud and clear. They're out of here towards the B site where those weapons can be saved. Remember, ultimates non-existent for SMB. If they lose these weapons, they won't have any money for the next round either. As I said, Acend looking likely for an 8-4, and the main hurdle was this round here, and they're zoning in on these players in elbow. The save isn't even going to be for free, and Zeek is just running at them.
They've shown the presence in the afterplant, but they've also shown just how aggressive and explosive they can be, and Starzo alone did that in the last round. Checking for aggression. Zeek is just going to force back all of these players. I doubt he'll find anything. But then see that
he got him.
And actually, Zeek got XiSTOU?
He got him inside lamps, or inside lamps, indeed. Yeah, he peeked out. He jumped out wide, took the shot. Another kill for Zeek as he secures that. And you got post-plant BONECOLD with Molly. Not much else to play with here. Says, honestly, post-plant play is unlikely. They'll look to actually fight on the side, and that Cosmic Divide further secures it. Look at the flank from Starzo, though. He is coming right up behind them. They have no idea that he can be here at this point. Eventually, they'll think about their flank, but not in time. Oh, this is so perfect. Zeek going down. They further concentrate in towards lamps. Look at the Molly. They're looking at everything except for Starzo. And as that Cosmic Divide fades, Starzo strikes. On the follow-up, anti-eco. This pistol not going to start out too well either. If they almost got dropped by Kiles, who's actually taken down in the open. SMB with a good start, but it's quickly pulled back into an even 4v4.
They've got the drone to take them at least a little bit of space. Heal's been put in onto Zeek as well, so he'll be back to basically where he started moments ago, obviously having a sheriff, so there was no armor, and annoyingly, you can see Glover's clearly played against cNed before, because he's like, he could be on the wall. I will make sure that he's not before I do anything.
Yeah, you see someone like Glovee there, like we had in the earlier game. Sure, he can do a lot of damage. But cNed there? Good luck when he gets a judge out or something like that. Oh, nasty stuff! Starzo hits every single headshot! All right, so Dream, listen, I was talking to Dream on a podcast. We were chatting, and this guy said, it's not a duel. If SMB don't give them that opening, then we're in trouble.
Wall down as well. Okay. Starzo actually dies. We know that he was trying to farm up his ult, but that's at least an opening. The other players still trying to make their way out. They've actually used the wall in order to try and get themselves some sort of plant, but haven't necessarily got that same level of space, and slowly just being ripped apart. Brave has actually managed to find another one. This is a pretty decent round. Now for Cyder, he's either got to win it or he's got to die, and
it's behind. Nobody finds it easy up against this team, and this is one of the worst starts that you could realistically ask for or hope for or imagine if you're SMB. I doubt you'd be asking for this poor of a start if you were SMB. That would be very strange. Only Brazilian teams want that.
Oh, he's in such a good spot. How does he get away with that? 2 kills found, even manages to escape it, and well, there were some vulnerabilities in this round, the weaponry being one of them, but he's already managed to get that, and he's getting closer to trying to get the res. cNed, they're just taking over this round. Finally, Brave will put him down, but it seems to be too little, too late. Killers, they don't even know. They don't know that he's still here.
They have managed to evade him. So he hasn't got the info just yet, but that smoke's faded. That kills Izzy, and now he can get back through the wall as well. Get out of there. He's not even stuck in a corner. Really nice utility that was played in the early round and working out perfectly for him here. That spike, he might be able to jump up and pick it, but you know, jumping would even be difficult because there's players everywhere. And as soon as he moves, he's shot down. 11-4, SMB. I mean, putting my hope in the fact that, you know what, maybe, you know, over time, Acend have kind of cooled down on Bind somewhat. It's been 2 months. No, they have not. They absolutely haven't. They've pushed down mid. These guys, never mind cooling down. They're speeding in lightning fast, red hot, and, well, you're going to have the first duel onto XiSTOU, or maybe Brave. These players have no idea what's going on as they're pushed out from their own spawn. SMB have just been caught off guard practically this whole map long, and it's going to end here with Glove 1 versus 4. Trapped out on long, miles away from the spike, and Acend, they're not even playing Valorant anymore. They're just running it down. They're deathmatching. 13-4, we close it out, 2-0. The best team in the world still looking a little... There's one! Oh, Izzy!
Okay.
The nade is going right on target. These players push back towards the site. I think they're still going to be safe from spike explosion, which Izzy will go down to on purpose. That is an insane amount of damage. SMB have done unbelievably well.
Yeah, I feel like we saw this in the last map, though. Like, they did incredibly well to do a lot of damage, and then Acend won the next round, and everything was forgotten. So it's now whether or not they can actually capitalize on it. If they win this one, they've got the rifles to play with. They drop some weaponry on the other side, so much so that Zeke's actually going to be aggressing with a judge. Now, that makes me think this is going to be a faster play towards the A side, because although you can play it into hookah, I just think after that initial phase, it's just not as preferable. Whereas you can basically lock down lamps.
Blinded.
That's where as well, you know, we discussed it earlier on Bind, how important these ult orbs are for strong ult economy teams. And on Bind, pretty much every team is a strong ult economy one with the kind of comps you're running. Zeke's still going to make it through with the blast packs. Not quite as quickly as he'd hoped, and he'll be caught, actually. Izzy with an off angle. And now they're going to fight over towards the bathroom where starxo was spotted, stuck in the corner, and that's a nasty peek.
They know that there's 2 locked in there, and with the wall behind, it's going to take some time for the remainder of the players to actually get through. They have information of at least 3 of these 4 players are not coming in from the spawn side, so it's very possible that Acend tried to get aggressive around the other side, and that's exactly what they do. They clear towards the spawn and have an afterplant from a different position. Kiles is in a bit of trouble, but luckily he's got cNed to support him. Another double coming in, and while Izzy tries his best, but it isn't going to be enough. And I thought they were going to go for an eco res for a second, but decided against it.
Yeah, I think just taking stock of the cash that they have, realizing they maybe don't need it in what they're about to come up against. It's not so much about Acend being able to full buy. You can see that Zeek certainly can't or couldn't have to be given a weapon over, leaving Kiles with no cash at all. 1k on starxo, 1k on cNed. It's not ideal. The reality is, you look at SMB, they haven't got anything to play with in this round. Honestly, I feel like they could have just bought a Spectre up on Zeek or something like that. Feels like almost an overinvestment for what they're up against. Because it's a big risk. If they lose this round now, they've got very little to work with.
Well, with Zeek being the one to lead the charge, it seems like maybe they're using this as an attempt to try and farm up some extra ultimate orbs for him, give them an easier opener going into the next. They've already got the res, the Viper's Pit available. Okay, you could try it against most, but you can't try it against cNed. They will still trade it out. And there's actually a rifle down, but the rest of the site has been completely lost, and Kiles is still lurking.
Yep, well handled. I mean, look, the risk is if you get upset in this round, you lose your money. Your economy might kind of run away from you. A couple players are on lower buy. But I realized then, but they had like Viper's Pit and everything to play with. So it would still be all right. Res as well coming into next. But the other side of the coin is that they also dominantly won the round. So any fear or any negative possibility that could have come of it doesn't matter anymore. Acend have retaken the lead. They've got the ult economy. I wouldn't necessarily say in their favor. I think they're still very much dueling with SMB for that. The showstopper on Izzy in particular, that guy is being an animal for early round aggression. I cannot imagine what he does when he has a showstopper online.
Yeah, I'm always going to be worried for the orbital strike. Like, there's not many maps where it's like I would say incredibly impactful, but this is definitely one of them for the potential positions to clear. And well, actually, they're going to force Izzy completely into the open, not in the most normal spot for it to be placed. He's going to get killed off by the nade. Not anything he can really do there. And while they got the opener they desired, XiSTOU, though, he wants to re-aggress. Okay, then. Zeek has just been finished off. Didn't even know that was up for a battle. He will be brought back from the fray, however.
Yeah, as we said, lots of ultis for Acend, and there's one of them used. Obviously, well, two, I suppose, orbital strike as well at the start. Those two ultis give them one player to the good. Lost shields on Zeek, lost shields on cNed, and now the showstopper activated, but oh my god, Brave has just ruined the hopes of this round. They committed so much on the side of Acend. A showstopper, an orbital strike, a res, and SMB get out with 4 players, Tom. That's frankly ridiculous.
Yeah, a huge play from Brave, but you also have to say, like I said, not checking the corner, that is a huge mistake to make. Like, 2 players walk around without even taking a peek in that direction. Now, obviously, it's helped by the fact that they had the poison orb down just behind it, so it gave them a little bit of a reveal, but even still, like, that just became almost too easy for someone of his talent to be able to just finish off a round like that. 3-3. As you said, that was the majority of ultimates used, and oh, straight off the bat, Viper's Pit locking down mid.
Scout destroyed.
And again, we're seeing this more and more. The staggered pit, Viper behind, Sova up close, or someone else up close. Doesn't have to be Sova. Up close on this side, though, you've got a lot of Acend players dashing on out and finding actually mixed results. Brave is shutting this down from long. Everything was looking good until this man got involved. And, well, the IGL is CyderX having a bit of a better time. Going in through the TP, securing another angle. BONECOLD is heard on long. He's going to have a very tough time closing this one out. TP time?
Get to the TP. There's a chance that he could just go and try and get the afterplant back on the other side of the map. But you can already see Brave was starting to move in that direction already. This had definitely gone into the minds of the opposition, and with how Brave has been playing so far, I wouldn't even blame him for taking a bit of a risk here. Not really a necessity. He's trying to bait him out with the peek, but he's actually missed the timing completely. So Brave is going to sneak round, flash into his face, and okay, BONECOLD still gets the kill, but it doesn't matter. His teammates were ready.
A little bit ridiculous that he ends up with that duel going his way, but yeah, thankfully the timing was there on SMB, well coordinated on the pushback through. They've netted themselves a 4th round. The defensive side certainly looking a bit better here than it did over on Acend. Be careful now. On the previous map.
Well, for now at least. Looks like Supermassive Blaze have stabilized. As said, still got the ultimates. In fact, Brave getting so many kills over the last couple of rounds. The Seekers are already 1 away from being back online. On the other side, you've still just got that Viper's Pit and even some financial trouble starting to show up for Acend. So a chance for a really solid defensive side coming out of the Turkish squad. Still, though, they have to be careful. We mentioned it in the last map that Acend do seem to be very good at winning the rounds exactly as they need it, and for Glove, that's not the greatest initial fight.
Not exactly. But, you know, at least he ain't dead. There's always an upside to it. SMB can reset into a late play on long starxo. He actually did catch Glove going to that side, and he almost gets him on the way to B. The shot's not landing, but at least there's still presence being given away. And for Acend, you know, they've convinced SMB to stick on B at this point. You know, there's a lot of pressure coming through. And if noise is made inside of Hookah as well, they might even see a rotate come through from the A side. But they're backing off already. Still, it is lighter on this side for sure.
Oh, playing around a tiny gap. And actually the Viper's Pit Might just pull a rotation or two at will. And just as they go to move, Zeek is ready and waiting. If anything, though, that kind of holds a couple of players back. It gives them an opening to try and find something, but BONECOLD's going to be the one to win it with a pistol.
What?
Leaving Glove as the solo defender, and after being tagged up twice, there was nothing he could really do. The remaining members of SMB would just fall back to save, and that's kind of what I mentioned. Like, the second Acend need a round, well, that was perfect.
Very much so. No, the fake worked out. They've even left a late lurk of Kiles towards the A site, so saving these weapons isn't necessarily guaranteed for Supermassive Blaze. Depends how aggressive Acend want to play, and taking a look at their money, I mean, you probably don't want to lose a weapon. But SMB have got decent money, so there's certainly value to taking one out of their hands.
For sure. It seems like they're just going to allow Kiles to go on the hunt a little bit here, but not really spotting anybody. Both playing as far back as humanly possible, and yeah, they're just going to be the equalizer. And yeah, the money's not going to be too bad. CyderX with 7,000 available can definitely drop a gun and probably buy up every remaining piece of utility they need. It's not going to be the end of the world. There'll be rifles across the board. I think the only thing missing is the drone, which definitely can play a part. Or no, actually, he might still have enough for that. Never mind.
Nope. No drone to play with. Finances going elsewhere. Could have probably went towards a even light shields at this stage, you know, with a Hunter's Fury to play with. It's still a curious decision by CyderX. Maybe he doesn't think he's going to need it. And I mean, they've got plenty of ults to play with aside from the Hunter's Fury, so I don't think there's many reasons he should be forced into it. Zeek is stepping back. XiSTOU had the right idea for a second, but decided to pull away from the angle. Still, probably wise. And not just go charging through hookah with a minute left.
It's much more of a slower style out from Acend. Trying to feel out the map a little bit, look for spaces within the defense, and at least for now, it looks like long is where they're going to challenge for. Seekers is going to give the information over, but it might be too little too late. The slow in combination with the paint show is going to leave a fairly low HP player on the side. Brave is dead. He had to just try and find something there, peeking out into the open, and Izzy has gone down on the rotation. In fact, A-Site has actually fallen into the hands of just starxo. Trade back for XiSTOU, though, does make things interesting, and Glove just comes straight through the TP and takes down 2. This round is workable now.
That Hunter's Fury comes through, and it almost finds BONECOLD, but Glove goes down on the way through hookah. It's CyderX who has to clutch it out. Charging onto the site. I don't know what happened there. And BONECOLD might be a little bit caught off guard as well. Certainly doesn't look at stone cold killer. 5-4. Acend have taken the lead.
Yeah, that's one of those rounds where, like, from the get-go, they looked incredibly strong. Like, the initial setup, found the space. I like the combination of the slow and the nade to basically clear out Brave from the back of the site, who've been an absolute menace. That was wonderful, though, from Glove. Just the quick transition onto the second headshot to give them a chance back in that round, but unfortunately, cNed just didn't fancy it. Didn't really fancy giving them a chance.
We're gonna have a deep flash coming down mid. CyderX has also seen some players come and be long. He's seen a lot of players, in fact.
It's a stack.
Recovering it.
Yeah, and around like this, when you don't have a lot to play with, it makes sense for SMB to pool their resources, right? And I think Acend might start to... Well, okay, 3 people have shot at once. There's no way Acend think this is a light play.
Poor Zeek. Just been throwing everything at him. And that will actually steal them another rifle. 3 guns now off for the side of Supermassive Blaze. And XiSTOU's only responsibility is to delay. Doesn't really need to fight into this one. It is going to be an afterplant scenario. And that's one of the main issues. Like, you've managed to get a gun. You've managed to make this look workable. But getting out of this afterplant is one of the toughest things any team will have to face off against because of this utility combination that is there. You still have those Molotovs. You have those snake bites. And there's still flashes available as well, and slows.
Enemy tag.
And there's a tag for cNed. He'll get out even without his dash. Playing on the Sage here, he'll avoid being spammed as well. The reveal going through. cNed stepping into the corner. They know exactly where he is. So many players peeking him. I don't know how he stays alive for that long. And in the process, BONECOLD takes down the whole enemy team. 4 quick kills, and the round is saved with BONECOLD's ace. Acend, look, they maybe shouldn't have ended up with just 1 player alive at the end of this round, but I can't take anything away from BONECOLD winning it single-handedly.
Did he use his ult last round?
Well, he did just ace, Tom.
Yeah, I know, but that even still, like, he used his ult last round, and he has it now.
One enemy remaining.
Like, that's ridiculous. Like, he got a kill with it, and it helped earn it back, and then he just aced everyone. Like, that's insane. It's not a cheap ultimate either. So now they could use that into the next one. That is the tough thing, though. Even though they managed to retrieve rifles, the combination of utility that Acend have is one of the dirtiest afterplants you will ever see. It's one of the reasons to firstly play a Brimstone on this map. There's not many places it's successful, but having the Molotov and one of the best ultimates for afterplants, it's such a strong combination. The slows that they have, the snake bites as well. The fact is, even if they'd killed BONECOLD, 2 snake bites were on the spike as they came in, and it was already too late. So it made little to no difference. That's the problem with playing up against this composition, is not only do they have that explosive style with the combo of the Raze and Sky, but then you have this almost just ratty sit back and there's nothing they can do style, which, well, there's similarities on the other side for Supermassive Blaze when they go into the attack, but I don't think it's quite as dirty as the Acend comp.
Not many things are, Tom. Many things
No.
are. And I mean, even when you say Brim's post-plant, you know, his post-plant ulti, sure, but for clearing out lamps, like, it is so hard to play against this team, first of all. This composition, when they're cycling utility correctly, because every round, even if you're on a full buy, they're probably coming in with something better than you. And the way SMB have been using their ults so far, I mean, it's left them in a spot where for the end of this half, I don't know that they're going to even get any of them online. Maybe a Cosmic Divide, but what impact is that going to have? Acend seems favored for an 8-4 at least. This is tough for Zeek. He makes it out of the corner at least.
Kiles has taken space, but they're going to pressure him and clear him out. Solid start to the round because he's always an irritation on that lurk. Someone that's difficult to take down, and I was just trying to re-aggress for a little bit of control. Now, the rotation has come through from Cyder back towards that B site. Potentially leaves an opening, but they are definitely trying to scout out the area, maybe isolate that player. And while they're going to use the orbital strike in combination with the res to make sure there's no way they're going to trade it out.
Oh, starxo with a nasty angle. One of the only spots Izzy still could have been in was the other side of default, so they wait for it. That wall going down is going to cost a lot of extra time and guarantee that the plant cannot be interrupted. They've got flank control. Take a look down at the utility now. If we check in, Brimstone has a molly to play with double snake bites for Kiles. He hasn't even put down his orb yet because he's not planning to play a post plant. In fact, he's getting aggressive inside of hookah. This is Acend saying, we're not letting you push to the site and try to defuse this. You're not even getting out of your spawn. And Supermassive Blaze have heard that message loud and clear. They're out of here towards the B site where those weapons can be saved. Remember, ultimates non-existent for SMB. If they lose these weapons, they won't have any money for the next round either. As I said, Acend looking likely for an 8-4, and the main hurdle was this round here. And they're zoning in on these players in elbow. The save isn't even going to be for free, and Zeek is just running at them. Another kill for him. This is a disaster.
Oh, no.
SMB will get away with nothing.
Yeah, and it's not one of those scenarios where it can even really be made up for. Like, they do not have a great purchase coming into this round. A Bulldog up, a single rifle, and yeah, it's a rough position for Supermassive Blaze to be in. But again, we are witnessing masters of work. Like, this is a team that is one of, if not the best spine team in the entire world, and their attacking side is definitely a huge part of that. They've shown the presence in the afterplant, but they've also shown just how aggressive and explosive they can be, and starxo alone did that in the last round. Checking for aggression. Zeek is just going to force back all of these players. I doubt he'll find anything. See that?
Oh, he got him.
And actually, Zeek got XiSTOU?
He got him inside lamps, or inside lamps, indeed. Yeah, he peeked out. He jumped out wide, took the shot. Another kill for Zeek as he secures that. And you got post-plant BONECOLD with Molly. Not much else to play with here. Honestly, post-plant play is unlikely. They'll look to actually fight on the side, and that Cosmic Divide further secures it. Look at the flank from starxo, though. He is coming right up behind them. They have no idea that he can be here at this point. Eventually, they'll think about their flank, but not in time. Oh, this is so perfect. Zeek going down. They further concentrate in towards lamps. Look at the Molly. They're looking at everything except for starxo. And as that Cosmic Divide fades, starxo strikes, taking the final 2 kills in the final round of the half for Acend. A dominant 8-4 half for the attackers. And Tom, I mean, the worst fact about this, because someone might be sat there, you know, we might have the Turkish fans at home saying, you know what, it's okay. SMB's attack, that's where they're going to win this. Well, they chose to start on the defense. They've ended up with 4 rounds.
Yeah, it's definitely not the greatest of signs. And
oh, they won the pistol, by the way.
Yeah. Well, the worry as well is, like, from what we've seen from Supermassive Blaze in the previous qualifiers, they've had a decent attack, but their defense has been incredibly solid. So, I'm definitely a little bit worried. The other thing is, the last time we saw this map played by Acend, which was quite a while ago, they got 8 rounds on defense versus Team Liquid. So, and that's the thing. When you go to this map, like, there was definitely opportunities on the last. If this goes back in Supermassive Blaze favor, they are the real deal, and I think they've already proven that they are a team to compete with in this group. It's just on this map versus Acend, everyone in the world will struggle.
Absolutely. And after that first half going the way it did, buy rounds also tell you a lot, and there's been very few for SMB. As we said, they won the pistol on the follow-up anti-eco. This pistol not going to start out too well either. If they almost got dropped by Kiles, who's actually taken down in the open. SMB with a good start, but it's quickly pulled back into an even 4v4.
They've got the drone to take them at least a little bit of space. Heal's been put in onto Zeek as well, so he'll be back to basically where he started moments ago, obviously having a sheriff, so there was no armor, and annoyingly, you can see Glover's clearly played against cNed before, because he's like, he could be on the wall. I will make sure that he's not before I do anything.
Yeah, you see someone like glovee there, like we had in the earlier game. Sure, he can do a lot of damage. But cNed there? Good luck when he gets a judge out or something like that. Oh, nasty stuff! starxo hits every single headshot! All right, so Dream, listen, I was talking to Dream on a podcast. We were chatting, and this guy said, it's not a duelist anymore. It's not a duelist.
There.
My response was in NA, maybe. We'll see about EU, right? There we go. This is unbelievable. starxo flashing out and taking 3 kills. They were blind the whole time. They ate that flash.
This is the agent which I enjoy watching him most. And as I said, like, we've seen him now play on agents like Astra to a high level. We even saw him in, like, the Red Bull tournament, playing on a Jet to a very good level as well. But this is the agent where I think it's tough to find anybody in the world that's better than him. And that was just pure filth, a round that was competitive. He's now gone for the orb just because he's very, very close to getting those Seekers online. We're only in round 2. And remember, the opposition have nothing. Like, in this case, literally nothing. They've maybe bought a piece of utility or 2, but the likelihood is that's being saved for the next round.
Another tough pill to swallow for the SMB team. Brave even got tagged on the way across that smoke. Say BONECOLD, if he had a little bit more ammo, things could have gotten very dangerous. A minute on the clock and no choice really for the attackers. I mean, they can go back towards A, but they've just given up so much control. Why is the spike running the other way? Okay, he's coming back. Oh no, he's leaving the spike. They're gonna play this slow.
Go fetch.
Yeah, come get it. I mean, they want this push to happen. They want the crossfire to execute on. Again, you run into the site like this, if they just blitz in, they're dead. They're going to lose the round. So they have to try to wait for an opening. If SMB don't give them that opening, then we're in trouble.
Wall down as well. Okay. starxo actually dies. We know that he was trying to farm up his ult, but that's at least an opening. The other players still trying to make their way out. They've actually used the wall in order to try and get themselves some sort of plant, but haven't necessarily got that same level of space and slowly just being ripped apart. Brave has actually managed to find another one. This is a pretty decent round. Now for Cyder, he's either got to win it or he's got to die, and unfortunately it was the latter, but yeah, 3 kills when they had only classics. That is not bad.
Not bad, yeah, that's fantastic. And they were stacked up outside B. As I said, you just go running into that site, you'll end up getting wrecked. And so they wait their time, they let Acend get a little bit itchy, and look, for the duels that they took, I'm surprised they got out with any more than one. So, fair play. Now, they come into a rifle round. Look, SMB on the attack, I want to believe in it. I really do. I want to believe in the Turkish attack side, but I keep circling back to this point you're making, Tom. It's Acend. It's behind. Nobody finds it easy up against this team, and this is one of the worst starts that you could realistically ask for or hope for or imagine if you're SMB. I doubt you'd be asking for this poor of a start if you were SMB. That would be very strange. Only Brazilian teams want that.
Oh, he's in such a good spot. How does he get away with that? 2 kills found, even manages to escape it, and well, there were some vulnerabilities in this round, the weaponry being one of them, but he's already managed to get that, and he's getting closer to trying to get the res. cNed, they're just taking over this round. Finally, Brave will put him down, but it seems to be too little, too late. Killers, they don't even know. They don't know that he's still here.
They have managed to evade him, so he hasn't got the info just yet, but that smoke's faded. That kills Izzy, and now he can get back through the wall as well. Get out of there. He's not even stuck in a corner. Really nice utility that was played in the early round and working out perfectly for him here. That spike, he might be able to jump up and pick it, but you know, jumping would even be difficult because there's players everywhere. And as soon as he moves, he's shot down. 11-4, SMB. I mean, the hope has got to be fading at this point. Very much the point we were making on map 1. You know, if they win it, maybe we can get that 3-mapper, but when it comes to bind, this team is just too strong, and it's evident now. 2 rounds needed on their defensive side to close this out.
You want to know something interesting?
Go for it.
So, currently, not including this map, Acend are on a 12-win streak on Bind.
Okay.
They lost it once to Gambit, and before that, they had a 12-win streak on Bind.
I see. I see.
Yeah, and that was in August when they lost it. They lost it 13-4 to Gambit, who, well, I guess at that time then went on to win Masters, so could also be considered the best team. So it really is like that. To beat them, you have to be the best. And SMB have looked good today. Their Ascent looked impressive. It's not enough to beat them here. Even if it is a new season, I feel like any jitters or any shaky sort of notions for Acend went out of the way in the first map. Now they get onto their comfort pick. It was mentioned on the desk like by Ryan. It was like, do you want anything changed? There's a reason that he said no, and it's because no one has been able to beat this. Like, that's 24-1 is the streak.
Yeah. And when you look at this whole system, it depends how short-sighted you're going to be. You can say, oh, to get out of groups, you only need to be better than 3 teams, right? SMB could be better than BBL, G2, Guild, maybe. Like, it's possible. So it's not over if they lose to Acend and Fnatic, who look, frankly, fantastic. Izzy, he's already up here. He's rushing them down. They flashed just in case he'd already made it close, but they didn't detect him. Now they've seen him, though. Nade through, not going to land. They've easily escaped. And so early aggression avoided. But they avoided giving the early aggression any sort of results over on the Acend side so far. That's a little risky, but, well, that's the spike drop, and they're going right through. Not sure I like this against pistols, but I guess it really underlines how confident Acend are feeling.
Yeah, no, this is them basically rubbing salt in the wounds. This is them kicking someone while they're down. This is almost asserting their dominance to the point that they're going to come back in with rifles and just go, well, what do we do here? It's an impossible scenario. 8 rounds in a row needed on the attack for Supermassive Blaze just to compete in this map, and I think Acend are kind of proven that they still got it. I don't think anyone's surprised, but they felt the need to prove it.
Yeah, you know, I was desperately hoping we'd end up with that first map for SMB. Wanted to see the full series between these, but then even putting my hope in the fact that, yeah, you know what, maybe, you know, over time, Acend have kind of cooled down on Bind somewhat. It's been 2 months. No, they have not. They absolutely haven't. They've pushed down mid. These guys, never mind cooling down, they're speeding in lightning fast, red hot, and, well, you're going to have the first duel onto XiSTOU, or maybe Brave. These players have no idea what's going on as they're pushed out from their own spawn. SMB have just been caught off guard practically this whole map long, and it's going to end here with Glove 1 versus 4. Trapped out on long, miles away from the spike. And Acend, they're not even playing Valorant anymore. They're just running it down. They're deathmatching. 13-4, we close it out 2-0. The best team in the world still looking a little bit undefeatable.
Yeah, I don't think you can really take anything away from Supermassive Blaze. Solid first map of Ascent, but they walked into the territory of Ascent for the second, and they came out worse for wear. It's not a surprise. It's not something that blows us away, but it's good to see the champs are still looking as strong as ever, and there is a very good reason why we expect them to cruise through this group. And even though there's some tough opposition there, I expect it still the same.
Yeah, I think we have to be real.